Good evening, folks. I'm student meteorologist Dylan Leith here.
And I'm student meteorologist Chris Knoll.
Well, today was unfortunately not the best days in terms of the conditions outside. A little chilly, a little rainy, and as our favorite weathercaster would say, raw.
Yeah, it was quite raw out there. I mean, it was Friday, so my day felt nice, bright, and sunny.
Yeah, it's a nice, bright, and sunny end to the week, but we will see some Brooks Koepka legendary golfer kind of days coming up into this weekend. Absolutely gorgeous conditions tomorrow for our last home football game, sending the seniors off in good style.
Yeah, tomorrow's shaping up to be a nice weekend. Looking forward to beautiful conditions for basically being outside, like going to football, studying on a Landis Green. Really anything you can do on campus.
Yeah, we've talked about, I don't know, before the desk, who the next FSU football coach is, and do you have any idea who you would think that would be?
I mean, Haggins has been doing a good job, but, you know, it might be Brooks Koepka, legendary golfer.
It might be him. You never know who the next FSU basketball or football coach is. Our own Harrison Prieto, who you may have seen on the show, playing a basketball game tonight against Western Carolina University at 7 o'clock. So go out there and support him and the rest of the Knowles basketball team if you have plans for that.
Yeah, I'm hearing it's a sold-out game, so if you're trying to get a ticket now, it's a little too late. But for those who have a ticket, it's going to be shaping up to be a real good game.
Yeah, our first home opener after being on the road for the last two games and finally beating those Gators in Gainesville. So congratulations to them for that. But now we're going to send it over the wall with Michael, who has our overview. Michael, what do you got?
Yeah, and Dylan and Chris, you summed up. Not great day out there. It was cool. It was wet. It was a little windy. I can describe that in one word, and that word is raw. You can see nice. Not a great view outside of Doak Campbell Stadium. 51 degrees with some showers in the area under cloudy conditions. And we also have a little bit of a wind, so it doesn't make it feel nice outside. It's not good to practice your game outside like Brooks Koepka, the legendary golfer, but it is a great time to head into the Tucker Center for our home opener against Western Carolina happening at 7 o'clock. You can see these low-level clouds, especially in the western parts of our region, out towards Panama City and Definiak Springs. But as we head into the overnight hours into early tomorrow morning, those clouds and rain are slowly going to move out as the low pressure system currently in the Atlantic pushes off towards the Carolinas and high pressure does build in. So our headlines for tonight: we are going to warm up this weekend into early next week, and conditions are radically going to improve. And we'll also dry up as well. Now we're going to send it off to Zach with the look at a very wet and raw southeast.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. He's absolutely right. I mean, the only way you can describe these temperatures today, it was raw. We had that really like stratiform rain, that light rain. It was kind of foggy, kind of hazy. Here we have 45 degrees in Montgomery, 51 in Tallahassee, 53 in Jacksonville. We all have those light scattered showers around. I mean, just not a nice day outside at all, really, for anything. Looking at those dew points out there. Yeah, not too bad. It might not seem that bad for 48 degrees in Tallahassee, 42 in Atlanta, but if you keep in mind, that's not too far away from our temperature and how dew points work. Usually the closer the two are together, the more moisture is really in the atmosphere. So it is humid out there, it is moist out there, even though the heat isn't really building like we had all those weeks ago. You can see that storm system, starting to come off the coast there. It's really blown up this afternoon. It's really grown in intensity. It's going to continue traveling up the eastern seaboard into the Carolinas, bringing those showers and thunderstorms really for all those places, especially the Outer Banks. We have some watches and warnings and advisories up for those areas due to a lot of just wind and rain, coastal beach erosion, all those kind of things. Here more locally, the rain hopefully is tapering off. It's going to be moving on out. So we got those marine alerts right now. We have the small craft advisory there along the Gulf and other places. Our moisture forecast, you can see that storm is going to start moving its way up the coast, but thankfully getting out of our region here in Tallahassee. We have that low moisture you can see up there on the scale, so things are going to be drying out, and it's going to be looking much, much nicer as we get into the next 24 hours or so. As you can see here, the storm, once again, this is a simulated radar of what it's going to look like. That rain up there, South Carolina, just getting absolutely pummeled with all of those showers. As we get into North Carolina, too, and the Outer Banks, just an awful day. If you're anywhere, if you have, planning on sailing anywhere here, basically in the Bermuda Triangle, it's even worse idea than usual to be out there. You have those awful seas. 20, 30-foot seas are also possible with this storm. Just a lot of dangerous going on down there. Orlando, Tampa, Miami, the rest of Florida, your conditions are also going to improve. Tonight's forecast, you can see, wow, 37 degrees in Montgomery and those rain showers, just how awful. 39 in Atlanta, 42 in Charlotte, Tallahassee tonight, 46. Thankfully, our rain is going to be tapering off. Tomorrow's forecast, look at this. 63 in Tallahassee, the sun is going to come out. It's going to be so much of a better day compared to where we were today. Here in Jackson, 57 degrees, Nashville, 55. And yeah, as we go through the rest of the week, we're going to see later in the show, conditions are probably going to be improving. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Lorenz with a look at your local.
Yeah, thank you very much, Zach. So, first things first, it is 51 degrees. It is cloudy out. We have winds coming in from the northerly direction, so that means drier conditions at the moment. But the good news is that's going to change as we move in to the rest of the week. It's going to start to change in the moisture conditions. It's going to start to be more hospitable to us Floridians here in Tallahassee. Taking a look back at the current temperatures, it is 51 degrees in Tallahassee. It's about the same in the surrounding areas. Donaldsonville, a little lower at 49, and we see some other higher temperatures like the 54 we have in Valdosta. But basically, it's all about the same. We have those dry dew points. Here in Tallahassee, we have 48 degrees for our dew point, and that just gives us a good estimate on how much moisture is in the air. The closer they are, the more moist it is, but at the moment, it's in the drier region due to the colder temperatures coming in from the north with that cold front that passed over just recently. And the satellite shows there's nothing really in the area other than some clouds in the upper parts of the atmosphere. We see rain in the northwest direction from our area in Leon County and the surrounding Big Bend region. But none of that rain's really going to hit us too bad. You can see in the next 24 hours it does come through slightly, so we're going to get some scattered showers for the rest of today. But as we move on into Saturday and additionally into Sunday, the rain will stop and it'll be clear skies for the next 7 days. When we get to the 7th day, you'll see that there's no rain chances. So if you don't like the rain, congrats, there's no more rain. But if you do like the rain, you're going to get some more rain eventually. Just enjoy the week off. And tonight's forecast, we have 46 degrees in Tallahassee. It's going to be mostly clear, except for those scattered showers in parts of the Big Bend. You're going to get more showers in the northern part of our region. So if you're in southern Georgia or if you're in parts of southern Alabama, you're probably going to get more rain than here closer to the coast of Florida. And that week ahead is exactly what I said. You have clear skies, loads of suns. You see how many suns there are? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 straight days of sunny skies with a little bit of clouds here on Saturday and next Friday. We got 40s all the way through the night, all the nights, all the lows, 46 tonight. It's going to be a beautiful week. If you're waiting for the basketball game, we have a basketball game today. We have a football game tomorrow against Alabama State. It's going to be a good day. You're going to be able to sit in those stands and enjoy it. And eventually, we're going to hear the next Friday, it's going to warm up just slightly to 75 degrees. You're going to get your last taste of the fall before we really start transitioning into cooler temperatures for the rest of winter here in Tallahassee. But it's going to be pretty good. It's going to be good conditions if you're enjoying those drier dew points. You're going to change some moisture as we go through the week, but it's going to continually stay dry as we move on for the rest of this local update. For now, we're going to send it over to Michael and Zach at the desk.
Thanks, Lawrence. I really like that 7-day upcoming for before Thanksgiving week. But we're going to talk more about this coastal low currently in the Carolinas, how it really formed, and what really impacts are being felt in the Carolinas and Georgia and the Atlantic coast of Florida.
Right. Well, meteorologists have been watching this storm, on the models for the past, week or more.
Yeah.
And it's kind of jumped around with how strong it would be, where it would really form, the exact track it would take. But we all knew that Tallahassee was going to get rain, but where it was going to go afterwards, like into this weekend, is just now starting to become more clear.
Yeah, it was basically we had these two pieces of two systems in a sense. We had one coming from the Midwest and another coming from Mexico, if you watched the show yesterday. And both of those pieces basically converged just about east of Jacksonville and formed a new low off the southeast coastline.
Yeah. And while this may, reminiscent of like a tropical type system, it's definitely not. The meteorological characteristics are different. It's a cold core system. It's like a storm that would form anywhere over land. But the impacts, especially along the coast, the Outer Banks, South Carolina beaches, it's going to be much the same.
Yeah, and we still have high pressure situated in the northeast. The combination of that and the low pressure off the southeast coast are going to give some windy conditions for the Carolinas and those constant waves and beach erosion for those beaches. So not good for the sandy dunes out there in the Carolinas.
Yeah, and I know in the Outer Banks we love to go vacation there, and the highway continues to have to get rebuilt it seems like every year, every time a hurricane skirts the coast, it just continues, and it's an ongoing battle.
Yeah, it's not good for the coastal erosion. Luckily, by the time we get into next week, that system departs. We have some more. We've been in this trough the last few days, and now a ridge will finally build in as we go into next week, and it's going to feel more typical of what it's supposed to be like for November. It's felt like January for the last few days.
Absolutely.
Especially.
Well, with a closer look at your national big picture, we're going to turn it off to Maddie at the wall.
Thank you, guys. We're going to take a quick look at the national hop around and see what has been going on today in the weather. Starting off with our national high and low, though, today along the west coast of Florida and Naples, up to 85. Definitely different than what we're feeling here in Tallahassee. I wish it was 85 here, but luckily we're not in Minnesota when the low got down to 5 degrees this morning. Looking at our overview temperature of most of the nation, we see some nice mild conditions along the west coast. Los Angeles pointing them out at 65 degrees. San Francisco at 66, and as you move more east across the nation, you see those temperatures start to dip down as we had a cold front move through the area for the past few days. Kansas City at 47, and the farther east you move, Memphis 43 and Atlanta 45. Our dew point temperatures show that cold and dry air that had moved through the area. Now keep in mind, as Zach mentioned earlier, those dew points let us know how muggy it is outside. So the lower those dew points, the more dry it feels. Right now in Denver, 28, 29 in Kansas City, and 29 in Memphis as well. As we get farther to the east coast, we're seeing that front move its way across off into the coast, and that's why we see those more moist conditions, 48 in Tallahassee and off into the Atlantic. Like I was just mentioning, we have some nice high pressure systems over the nation, giving us that dry and cooler air over much of the Midwest and over Texas, different than the rainy and stormy conditions they've seen the past few days. And as that makes its way over into the southeast, all of that activity will be moving off into the coast by the end of this weekend. We do want to point out some precipitation that's coming over the southeast in Atlanta, Alabama. And we also see that moving off into the Carolinas as well as Virginia. But give that a few hours, that'll move off into the coast, leaving it with some nice dry conditions. Pointing out that high precipitation that's going to be coming into the area, we have some coastal flood advisories, coastal flood warnings, and even a watch up in parts of Virginia. Those are going to last throughout the weekend, just with that heightened precipitation that we're going to be seeing from that front moving through. Really not too much to worry about in terms of storm, just an increased precipitation. So watch out if you're along the coast, maybe not the best week to take the boat out, but other than that, it'll be moving off into the ocean by the end of this weekend. Looking at their national view, our national radar doesn't show too much activity as those high pressure systems are sitting over most of the nation. We're not seeing too much except for some cloud coverage up towards the north, but as you move farther across the nation, the only really part of activity is that front that is moving off, and we're going to see that precipitation over into the southeast. For tonight's forecast, with that high pressure and those less cloudy conditions, we see those temperatures drop. That's why in Kansas City, we're getting around 31 degrees, 36 in Dallas, and also 36 over in Albuquerque. So it's going to be getting down there. And as you get into tomorrow's forecast, we're going to see those temperatures rise, giving us a great start to the weekend. Memphis at 55 degrees, 62 down in New Orleans. Seeing some cooler temperatures as you get up north, but that's pretty typical for this time of year. But if you're looking at the national and tomorrow's temperatures, it looks like a great weekend ahead, so get excited for that. I'm going to go ahead and pass things off to Chris, though, for our second look at the local.
Thank you. As we were starting to move in, you all know we had some light rain coming in. We observed about 1/100 of an inch of rain. Not too much. Normally, we receive 0.12 a day, but you're not going to get rain every day, as I'm sure you're aware. Overall, in this month, we've observed about half of what we normally get in the rain. So we're about even as we're about halfway through November. But throughout the year, we're still 18 inches behind on rainfall. Currently, you have some light showers sticking around. As you can see, these dark clouds over Doak Campbell Stadium, brought to you by our weather stand camera. You got some winds coming out of the northwest at 5 miles an hour. Getting a closer look at our temperatures, we're mostly in the lower 50s with Donaldsville sitting up at 49 degrees. It's feeling a little bit chilly, as I'm sure you're aware from walking around, going to class today. I still want to be holding on to those jackets and whatnot. Our dew points are, despite it looking pretty white and dry, because our temperatures are so low, these are actually very moist dew points. In Tallahassee, our dew point is only 3 degrees below our current temperature, so it's quite muggy, except you will not be feeling it as much because of it is much colder than what it's been for most of the time, where high dew points felt like scorching heat. Our wind speeds coming out of the north, pretty gusty at some parts. It's 12 knots in Donaldsville, 9 knots Tallahassee, 12 in Apalachicola. Some areas aren't getting wind, but Samarja, Thomasville, as well as Valdosta. However, the winds aren't too bad. The main story was this area of light rainfall that is situated to our north. We got a little bit of that rain. That's what gave us those light showers around noon. And right now, and over the next 24 hours, you're going to see the storm start moving eastward. There might be some scattered showers impacting your Saturday, but as we start moving into the weekend, Sunday and onwards, shaping up to be a fantastic weekend. Tomorrow's day planner. What is this? November 16th. As much as I want to talk about Turkey, I think I should be giving you a forecast right here. Going in, it's shaping up to be a fantastic day, super effective day if you want to be going outside. Look at these partly cloudy skies. It's going to be warming up all the way to 61 degrees. Moving into the week ahead, Saturday is starting to be quite cool with 62, but it will start warming up starting at 66, moving all the way to 75 degrees on Friday. But for now, I'm going to send things off to the desk with Maddie and Hayden.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. Well, Hayden and I are going to talk about what to do in these cooler temperatures. A lot of FSU's population is from South Florida, so these colder temperatures are kind of a shock to them. So whenever those temperatures do drop, Hayden, what do you like to do?
Well, I'm a South Floridian, and I wore shorts today. I was not smart, and I froze. So, if I like to stay in the classroom because it's warmer. And so if you like being inside, I recommend the FSU basketball game, watching it inside or going to the game.
Exactly. I know a lot of us after the show are going to that, so I'm excited. We took a poll around the studio this evening to talk about what people like to do. A lot of people saying they like to make hot chocolate, they like to bake cookies, things like that.
Yeah, and it's kind of towards the holiday season. It's November, Thanksgiving, Christmas, so it definitely kind of fits the motif at least.
Definitely. A couple people, especially Tyler, I know, said it's the perfect time to catch up some sleep, to take naps, sit and watch Netflix if that's what you like to do. I'm all for that.
Yeah, agreed. And if you kind of like dozing off or watching something, maybe football. I like a lot of football at FSU. Not as great, but overall.
That's all right. Football, we're transitioning into the basketball season, so hopefully that's a little bit better. But yeah, pretty much any activity inside is the way to go, especially as the temperatures continue to drop for the next few months.
Yeah, exactly. While the temperatures are decreasing overall, though, our temperatures will warm up as the sun comes up with those high pressures. And so that is, maybe you can get outside after this weekend.
Something to look forward to. So why don't you keep these ideas in the back pocket while those temperatures continue to rise over the next few days, take advantage of that, and then when they start to drop, head on inside.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, the sun will come out again. It'll be a little bit cool, but it'll be a great time to go out, do those activities like we said, maybe hit the res. All those are great opportunities.
Right, get in one last good day at the res or maybe the beach. If you're feeling it might be a little windy and chilly, but definitely soak that in before finals week coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. We're starting to wind down to the semester. Speaking of winding down, we're going to send it out to look at our forecast.
Thank you very much, Hayden. We're going to look across Florida for any of you traveling out there this weekend, anywhere from Pensacola, where we're still hitting cooler temperatures at 57. You could even say we're still hitting cooler temperatures at 64 at Tampa. Definitely lower than fall-like conditions for their time of area. But we can still see those high dew points, especially along the coast, especially in West Palm Beach, home of legendary golfer Brooks Koepka, and as well as 66 in Fort Myers. And we're even hitting 73 down in Key West with those high dew points. Definitely wind speed and direction, we can really see where that cold air is coming in, and especially into areas of Pensacola and Tallahassee. That northerly flow has really reached down kind of all across areas of the peninsula. In fact, that's why Gainesville has reached temperatures into the 50s and maybe even into the 40s tonight. So definitely that cold really starting to spread its way throughout the area of Florida. Good news is, though, the rain that was with us yesterday is mostly gone. As you can see, nothing too much looking across our radar within the panhandle itself. We don't get to activity until we see a little more along the bottom half of the peninsula with Miami. This rain was affecting Miami earlier today, and it still is, in fact, affecting areas of Fort Myers all the way from the drive to Fort Myers to Miami throughout the Everglades. So definitely make sure you are careful on that drive. But as we go through the night, we see those a little more of some shower activity down into areas of Fort Myers and West Palm Beach. But you see by the time tomorrow hits, that will be away. And as you look at the entire state, not really an entire weather system or rain event or rainmaker, as you want to call it, across much of the state. But we might get a slight chance of a shower over in areas of Jacksonville, maybe even to Tampa and Fort Myers, but should not be too major of a factor. And even as we head more into Saturday and Sunday, you can see a lot of these little pop-up showers in the Gulf. They're really starting to calm down. Even that low pressure system that's been with us for the past 2 days starts to go away, and that's when our temperatures will start to begin to heat up once that those cold temperatures start to remove themselves. But it is not definitely remove itself from Indianapolis, if you're planning on making the drive to the Colts game at all against the Jags. 41 degrees, pretty much sticking steady through the game. Should be a good, close game there. Meanwhile, in Tampa, should be perfect conditions. I personally like this, where I'm not sweating outside, sitting in the stands with that sun beating on me. But 65, very comfortable there. It should be a good, close game with the Saints. And if you happen to be stopping by on the Dolphins and their 2-win streak game, see if they can continue it against the Buffalo Bills. Should be 71. Definitely great conditions there as well, looking for their game. And into tonight, we're looking into as low temperatures as 41 still in areas of Pensacola. We've even had some freeze warnings in areas of New Orleans and Mobile, further out to the west. So if you're happening to travel anywhere west, definitely keep that in mind as well. We're still looking at some jacket weather into Tampa and Orlando at areas in the 50s. And some rain in areas of West Palm Beach. But tomorrow hit should be comfortable weather at 72 in Fort Myers, and the rest of the peninsula looking much better, especially for Tallahassee, hitting at the mark of 63 tomorrow. Now I'm going to head things off to Hayden for a look at our last local of the evening.
Yes, absolutely. Let's take our last look at our local, very cold. Speaking of which, you see that dreary 51 degrees. A moderate wind northwest at 9 miles per hour. And then kind of here, you can kind of see the low clouds by the stadium lights, and that's what we're talking about. It's kind of that dreary mix. And so it's really not a attractive day here in Tallahassee. So taking a closer look, as I said, that warm Gulf is a little bit warmer. St. Mark's 53, Perry 53. Tallahassee is a little bit cooler, 51, and even cooler up as you go into Alabama and Georgia, with Donaldsonville at 49. So these are all examples of that cool air we've been talking about. And the reason why, it's that cold air advection. You have the north wind, and that's really bringing that cooler air down. If you saw the national forecast, all that cool air is being dragged down by the highs and those cold fronts. So Tallahassee, like I said, 9 miles per hour. Perry 7. It's overall pretty light wind, but adding to that wind chill if there's any factor. And so looking out, you can see these kind of smiley faces. It's not very humid. So it's about 50 degree dew point. And so even though it is a bit damp, it is feeling good if you are not a big fan of that humidity. And so this will be, you can kind of see some of that light showers out by Georgia. So that's kind of that precipitation, those low clouds we've been experiencing in the region. But our big factor is this big coastal low out here. So on the backside of that low, you get this counterclockwise wind. And so that's really kind of dragging in some of that cool air. And it's also dragging a cold front down for our southeast regions. And so looking out to the game, if it's going to be like today, the answer is yes and no. It's still going to be cool. It's going to be 61 degrees, but that sun will be out, unlike today. And so if you're in the stands, hopefully it's a little bit warmer. Get kind of some of that albedo, get that sun on you, and it should be a pretty good game. And hopefully get some good results against Alabama State. Hope it's as good as the legendary golfer Brooks Koepka. So looking out for tonight, a 30% chance of rain, 46. So maybe bring that poncho or umbrella if you're going out to the Tucker Center tonight and watch that game. Or if you're going out to Township for the post-game, for the bannership, just keep in mind it will be a little bit chilly there. And so to the week ahead, look at Saturday, 62, low of 46. A little bit cool for the morning tailgate. Overall, gorgeous. Sunday, similar thing, 66, low of 43. It is going to be feeling absolutely great. And then as we start our work week for Monday and the school week for us FSU students, 68, low of 42. So just bring a jacket if you're heading over the class. But overall, it's going to be a classic November week. It is good for your Turkey Day forecast. And for the same thing going throughout the week, Wednesday, Thursday, 72, 74. Even warming up for us Floridians. And then finally topping out at a nice 75. A little bit warmer for us who've been cold. So now we're going to bring it off to the desk for the final close of the show.
Thank you very much, Hayden. And as you know, it's Friday, and we talk
is
about our
indeed.
this day in weather history. And our first thing, there was surprise ice and snow in Boston during rush hour in 1967. I think rush hour in Boston that time was a little less chaotic than it is
Yeah,
now.
a lot less cars on the road. Nowadays, everyone owns a car, but even in the late 60s, you'd be surprised how many people didn't own cars in the Northeast.
Yeah, well, some of us will be heading up to Boston for the 100th Annual American Meteorological Society Conference on weather, so it'll be something interesting. You got our next weather history.
Our next weather history in 1987, so 20 years later, 22 tornadoes in eastern Texas, Louisiana, and Oklahoma.
That's a lot of tornadoes. And
That's a lot of tornadoes.
there was even thunderstorms and hail that were 3 inches, about golf ball-sized hail. And do you know, like how big that is?
Yeah, golf balls are pretty big. Currently, we're fans of golf here at FSU Weather. I personally like Brooks Koepka, the legendary golfer, and that's why I know how big golf balls are. So that's kind of a lot of a big size for him.
I mean, you imagine that falling on you. That's really hefty, and it caused a lot of
That
damage.
could put dents in cars.
And it was 110 mile per hour winds measured with that back in 1989 in Kentucky. Very insane. But luckily, we won't be seeing any hail in our 7-day forecast here in
No,
Tallahassee.
clear skies, beautiful conditions.
Yeah, seniors get their send-off at the last football game. We got basketball today. It's a sports-filled weekend. I think.
Oh yeah, there's a volleyball game as well, and a women's basketball game on Sunday.
It's just full of sports here. The best time in Tallahassee. Yeah.
Yeah.
If we can pull up that 7-day, Tyler, we'd really appreciate it just to see what the next couple of days. Oh, I guess I've been told it's not working.
It's not working.
So if I could explain, it will be 60s tomorrow.
It will be 60s.
And
don't forget, lows for the whole week, all 7 days, are going to be in the low to mid 40s.
Yeah.
So you don't really have to worry about changing your outfit plans if you have anything going on. So you can keep the same couple jackets in rotation.
Yeah, definitely I'd recommend wearing a jacket to the football game because you saw at the noon kickoff, 56 degrees. It's a little cold, not shorts weather, definitely jeans weather. And you can see some of those clouds that we saw today here on our Weather STEM video.
Yeah, those clouds are moving out of the area, and we'll come back tonight for scattered showers. But after that, don't worry about clouds because we're not going to get rain.
Yeah, and we're all over social media, and the clouds were all over us the entire day. So, see that parallel.
Yeah.
A lot of good things here at FSU. We might need the sunglasses tomorrow, right?
You might need them. It's going to be sunny for 5 days straight.
Yeah.
That's the good conditions we want here at FSU Weather. I'd like to thank Maddie for giving me these sunglasses because without them, I might go blind.
Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Have a great night, Tallahassee.